Well, she's been missing for over 8 months, and now signs asking people to pray for her safe return have also disappeared.
As WDRB's Fallon Glick explains, the person stealing signs for Crystal Rogers was caught in the act by a family friend. Fallon.
David, the mother of Crystal Rogers, tells us the woman was allegedly going around town picking the signs up and throwing them in the trash, and the reason she gave for doing it is quite surprising. Family continues to hold on.
We still don't know where she is.
And ask for prayers for Crystal Rogers, a missing mother of 5 children, to be found.
We've lived this every single day for 8 months almost.
While the past several months have not been easy, Rogers' mother, Sherry Ballard, says what happened this week was beyond disrespectful.
It was just a slap in the face.
Ballard tells WDRB News a family friend witnessed a woman stealing Crystal's signs outside his business.
She had the backseat full of her signs.
Knowing who she was from teaching her oldest daughter in school, Ballard called the woman.
I just told her, I said, can you explain to me why you did that? You know, just give me a reason. She actually told me, I'm tired of Crystal. So when she said that, you know, it just blew me away.
When we tried calling her ourselves, she hung up on us. My name is Fallon Glick. I'm with WDRB News, and I was curious if I could ask you a couple questions about Crystal Rogers' signs.
No.
Ballard was able to figure out where some of the signs were dumped, but managed to save a few. She is now shocked by a lack of sympathy.
She told me I would even get tired of it. I'm like, I will never get tired of my daughter's signs up, you know, until we find her.
And until that happens, the Bardstown family will continue focusing on the kindness of people who continue to help search.
I can't believe people would be that mean, but I've had a lot of support. So all of my support overweighs, you know, some of the ones that are negative out there.
And the Ballards say they are going to go through with pressing charges, and just today they've spent $300 on new signs. Fallon Glick, WDRB News.
1 step forward, yet 2 steps back in solving the disappearance of Crystal Rogers.
WDRB's Fallon Glick tells us new evidence belonging to the prime suspect's grandmother may be the key to finally solving this case. Fallon.
That's right, Lindsay. David, that new evidence is the car that was owned by the grandmother. It has since been sold, but now she is refusing to talk. Her lawyer says it's to protect her innocence.
How many were there, and what did they do to her, and did they catch her off guard, and did she know it was coming?
Those are the questions that have haunted Sherry Ballard every day since her daughter Crystal Rogers went missing 11 months ago. Now she says a white Buick may crack the case, a car owned by a relative of the prime suspect, Brooks Houck.
She did own a white Buick and had sold it sometime here in the last few weeks.
Jason Floyd is the attorney for Houck's grandmother, Anna Whitesides, who owned a white Buick when the mother of 5 disappeared. Whitesides has been subpoenaed to testify before a Nelson County grand jury, but is invoking her Fifth Amendment right not to talk. The subpoena order states the car may have been used to dispose of a body, subsequently cleaned and sold in an attempt to prevent the Commonwealth from obtaining evidence from it.
She's guilty. Why would she not want to talk? Unless she has something to hide.
The general assumption is if you take the Fifth, you must be guilty. Well, that's not the case.
According to court documents, a private investigator found that a white Buick was parked in a peculiar location at the Houck family farm the night Rogers disappeared. Floyd says his client has given her statement to police and told them who she sold her car to. He says that information should be enough.
There are lots of things, particularly in a high-profile case where there is as frenzied an investigation as there is here, that could ensnare, you know, an 82-year-old woman.
But it's anything but enough for Rogers' family.
Praying to God that she can talk. I mean, that's very important to our case. I just feel like if they put it to where she can't talk, there's something wrong in this town.
Now a hearing is set for June 15th that will determine if Whitesides can continue to plead the Fifth or if she will be ordered to testify. Fallon Glick, WDRB News.
Police serve a search warrant in the year-old disappearance of a Nelson County mother, Crystal Rogers.
As WDRB's Fallon Glick explains, the warrant was served to Nick Houck, a fired Bardstown police officer who is the brother of the main suspect.
1 year and 1 month. Crystal Rogers, a mother of 5, missing without a trace.
Like a nightmare, and wanting to wake up.
Still, no answers.
They promised me that they hadn't stopped working on it.
Thursday afternoon, Tommy Ballard says the Nelson County Sheriff's Office made good on that promise. Detectives served Nick Houck with a search warrant while at his grandmother's house in Bardstown. Nick Houck was terminated from the Bardstown Police Department last fall for interfering with an ongoing investigation into Rogers' disappearance. He is also the brother of Brooks Houck, the main suspect in the case and the man Rogers was dating when she was last seen.
I've always thought that he was involved with Brooks. So, I mean, maybe they'll get what they need to prove he was involved.
Police would not say what they were searching for except that it's related to Rogers' disappearance. The findings of the warrant may not be known for months, but the Ballards are feeling a mix of emotions as they come one step closer to finding out what happened to their daughter.
I'm happy that something's happened, but it's not going to be happy when we find out what happened to Crystal.
It's a different thing to know in your heart what's wrong, but to think one day you're going to hear it is totally different. You know, it's that reality that just hits you, even though you know it in your heart, but just to hear it, you know, and just to hear the commotion going on and something different happening with her case, and it's been so long.
Fallon Glick, WDRB News.
He's the father of Crystal Rogers, a well-known missing woman from Bardstown. Early this morning, Tommy Ballard was shot and killed while hunting.
Now a family struggling for closure in Rogers' case has more heartache than ever before.
54-year-old Tommy Ballard was shot and killed Saturday morning while hunting with his son and grandson. Family tells us Ballard was shot in the back when he was about 75 to 100 feet from his truck. The incident happened around 8 a.m. on family property along Ed Brent Lane near the Bluegrass Parkway.
We're still treating that scene as we speak as a death investigation. We have investigators there on the ground. To rule it as anything else right now at this time would be irresponsible, so that's something that we're working on.
The truck is now wrapped in crime scene tape and surrounded by officials from Kentucky State Police, the Nelson County Sheriff's Office, and the Department of Fish and Wildlife as they investigate. But the question so many want answered is who shot Tommy Ballard?
I don't know all the information as far as who a perpetrator or who would have fired the shot is, but that'll be something else that we're working on.
Ballard was widely known in Nelson County for relentlessly searching for his daughter, Crystal Rogers, a mother of 5 who went missing more than a year ago.
The hardest is knowing she's out there.
And we don't know where.
Rogers was last seen on the family farm of her boyfriend Brooks Houck, who was named a suspect in her disappearance but never charged with the crime. Brooks' brother Nick Houck was also fired from the Bardstown Police Department for interfering with the investigation. And just a few months ago, a search warrant was executed on the Houck family farm. As for if Ballard's death has anything to do with his daughter's case, that remains a mystery.
We have no way right now to link any of that together. We're still in the early stages. I definitely think it's way too early to be calling anything like that.
Trooper Jeff Gregory says he knows tensions are high in the community.
We feel it, and we want to get some things settled over there and calm the community down somewhat if we can.
Ballard always said he longed for the day he would find his daughter.
But it's not going to be happy when we find out what happened to Crystal. Like a nightmare, and you're wanting to wake up.
In a phone conversation with Tommy Ballard's father, Till Ballard, he told WDRB News, quote, "Tommy always said I'll spend my last dime trying to find Crystal. I guess he's now found her."
And Trooper Gregory says it's not too often Kentucky State Police investigate hunting deaths. He expects investigators to be on scene well into the night.
The Bardstown community comes together to carry on a father's mission to find his missing daughter after his life was cut short.
WDRB's Fallon Glick explains it all starts with a float in tonight's Bardstown Christmas parade. Fallon?
Elizabeth, Tommy Ballard had plans to build this float for the whole city to see and to keep his daughter's name alive. When he was killed 2 weeks ago, his friends decided to build the float for Crystal Rogers themselves.
Adding last-minute details, pink tulle around the base, a candle for every angel, and a light shining bright on Crystal Rogers. To have a float in the Bardstown Christmas parade to honor his missing daughter was Tommy Ballard's dream.
His last day, the day that it all happened, that was the day that he was going to start working on it.
But after Tommy was mysteriously shot and killed while hunting on family property, close friends took it upon themselves to carry out his vision.
You're going to feel all those emotions and you're going to give those to the family.
Pink and white angel wings entering the Ballard home.
It was totally done out of love. We just wanted to make his vision happen. We wanted to keep it as close to what he wanted as possible.
In a private reveal to the family the night before the parade, the Ballard saw Tommy's dream come to life.
It's very emotional to see. I know it's painful for them too, but it's also, I guess, rewarding to see that his wishes were carried out.
But family friend Mary Taylor says the float has become something more. It's also a symbol of carrying on Tommy's mission to find Crystal.
You know, just the initial shock of what's happened to Tommy, I guess a lot of people are still in disbelief over that at this point. This takes everything to a new level.
Kenny Harrell was a childhood friend of Tommy's and as adults became neighbors. Now he and dozens more are continuing his walk.
Oh yeah, I'm very proud to carry that banner for Tommy.
That was his vision, is to keep his daughter's name alive, to make sure nobody quit, to continue that walk. For him, that's our goal, to keep on searching until they find her.
A walk that has turned into seeking justice for both a father and his daughter.
And friends are asking the community to show their support for the Ballards at the parade. It starts tonight at 6. Fallon Glick, WDRB News.
He is the father of missing Bardstown woman Crystal Rogers. Nearly a month after Tommy Ballard was shot and killed, his family is breaking their silence for the first time.
As WDRB's Fallon Glick tells us, in the weeks leading up to his death, Ballard told his wife that he was being followed. Fallon?
And David, that's part of the reason as to why his family believes his death was not an accident. Sherry Ballard believes the person involved in her daughter's disappearance is also responsible for killing her husband.
He's everywhere. I can't look at anything and not see him.
This was the scene nearly 1 month ago when Tommy Ballard was shot and killed. He and his grandson were up early before the sun to go hunting.
I told God to watch over them while they were in the woods.
Then about 30 minutes later came a phone call from the 11-year-old.
And he's hysterical, and he said, Papa's been shot, Mama. And I said, what? I heard it, but I didn't hear it.
In a frantic rush to the scene, calls were made to 911 and other family members.
There was a police officer down the hill with his lights on, and I could see my husband laying on the ground.
Weeks later, the same scene has an eerie silence, with traffic going by in the background. A cross has been erected in Tommy's honor.
I don't feel like my husband's death was an accident. I'll never think it was.
The Ballard family believes Tommy's death is connected to the disappearance of his daughter, Crystal Rogers.
I think someone just wanted my husband out of the way because we were getting close to Crystal, and they knew he was the driving force behind her.
Tommy orchestrated search after search to find his daughter and the mother of his 5 grandchildren the last 16 months. His death has been hard on Crystal's children.
She said, Mama, she said, I thought Papa was going to bring my mama home.
And hearing that,
Yeah, it broke my heart. I'm like, what do you tell her?
While the plan for Sherry and Tommy Ballard was to find their daughter and put her to rest together, Sherry now hopes for something different.
But I said, maybe he'll lead me to her, some way or another.
And she prays getting justice for her husband and daughter will come soon.
I mean, I've waited 17 months for Crystal. It's not easy waiting. And I hope I don't have to for Tommy.
Tommy Ballard was shot on family property. His son says they've never seen any other hunters trespassing on their land. As for this case, Kentucky State Police are calling it a death investigation. Fallon Glick, WDRB News.